much.
No. The Shadowcraft deck is very much the same from last week, I'd say.
And I think the Swordcraft deck as well from the early experimentation. I mean, maybe you would have found some people kind of toying around with something like Gawain or, trying something like Roland.
Right.
Which probably was very short-lived. Roland became much less interesting to players once they realized that Heavenly Aegis was that commonly ran.
Right. All right, coming into the second semifinals match, Limits versus Noah. We'll see who takes this and advances to the finals. It's going to be Dragon against Shadow. Dragon on the side of Limits, Shadow on the side of Noah. This is a matchup we've seen time and time again. It's going to come down to the healing and ramp available to the Dragon player early in the game and how much pressure Noah is able to put out with the Shadow deck. And to start it off, there's not a great curve from Noah.
Gonna have to just pass. Ideally, something like the Skull Beast down at this point would be really great. There's a few good 2-drops.
Yeah, when Dragoncraft evolves a follower, Little Soul Squasher definitely gets significant value out of that. An evolved skeleton or an evolved knight, for instance, obviously does not hit as hard as an evolved Rahab, which we might see come turn 4.
Awkward turns here. Gonna have to play Grimner to try to stop some of this damage.
It's gonna be able to stop the damage for sure, but there's a zombie party in the hand for Noah that's definitely gonna be able to clear that off the field. Another 4 damage this turn for Noah. An evolved Rahab could answer it, and there's not enough shadows to really use. Oh, he already played the Soul Squasher, so he's not gonna be able to use that next turn. But there is the Cerberus in the hand as well. That an evolved could clear it off the field.
Do another 4 to face, and on the next turn you have a situation where you have both Coco and Mimi.
And Noah hasn't even drawn Catacomb yet, and he's still been able to lay on this pressure. Limits is already at 10 health at the 5th orb in the game.
I mean, how different would this game have been if you had gotten 1 extra ramp and was able to play Sybil and evolve?
Right. And now the Sybil, he's going to get the orb, but he's not going to be able to heal because he won't be an overflow yet.
The lack of ramp really hurts. Not great
Interesting
options.
That he's running Uriel in his deck as well. I wonder what amulet he could be hoping to grab with that card.
Dragon's Nest.
Dragon's Nest, most likely. Still, I'm not entirely convinced that Uriel is the best card. Certainly not in this situation. It's not the card you want to have. And in Dragoncraft in general, it's tricky. It's tricky. It's gonna evolve the Lyriel going for the most damage possible.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. That is a real tragedy.
Yep, real quick game from Limits. He was drawing Olivia and Uriel when he needed to be drawing Dragon Oracle and other ramping tools.
3 turns that you drop to a first turn Shadowcraft player is real tough, especially when that Shadowcraft player is able to constantly remove your ward, the zombie party, and the Dance of Death as well. Earns so much damage.
And he had the wards that he needed. He had Grimnir, he had Rahab, and Aelia, but he didn't end up playing Aelia. He had the cards that he needed, but Shadow was able to answer it in spectacular fashion.
Yeah. And you get to the point where your Sybil can't heal, you can't even really remove that well, and your Sybil doesn't provide you war, the one thing that Sybil doesn't do, right? And you just can't stop the rushdown that Noah is putting on. So Noah takes a very early lead against Limits, and Limits is going to go to Dragoncraft against the sword.
This could prove fatal. I think he's hoping for the godlike draws, and having Zell and Genesis Dragon in the first hand is definitely not godlike. But we've seen it happen before that Dragoncraft can come and win in this matchup.
Yeah. Noah going second, mixed feelings, right? Having to pass the first turn. You really want to be able to get aggressive. The Dragon Oracle is a godsend for Limits.
Yeah, going first, you already have the play point advantage. And Dragoncraft, when it's able to ramp, gains even more play point advantage as the game goes on. So this coming turn, he's going to be able to play Rahab. And he's got an Aelia and a Draconic Fervor in the hand as well. That's even more ramp.
And the question is, I feel like there's two ways you can go about it, right? Ayla will be the more greedy path, but Rahab, I feel like, limits the options of the Swordcraft player from a strategic point of view, right? And what the Swordcraft player wants to achieve. So it is going to be the Ayla, and this means that the Dragoncraft player is going to take a little bit of damage to the face. There is a lot of healing available to try to patch that up, so unless the pressure is unrelenting and there's no good way to clear, that could end up being very dangerous here. So going up to 6 play points now and 7, which means the next turn will be 8 for Limits.
He's going to have Ouroboros next turn if he wants that. And Noah is still only on his 4th play orb.
Yeah. Just to get out of control real quick. Definitely did not do enough damage.
No, definitely. Limits was able to heal up just a little bit, but with the way that the curve worked out, Limits earning a significant advantage in this game.
I think Noah's thinking about whether to evolve.
Right. It could be a moot point. Just a 3/3 Taji is not going to mean much to this Ouroboros. It's just going to give him a target.
Yeah, and Ouroboros, of course, still has the option to evolve.
An attack as well, and that's an absolutely monster that Noah is going to have to deal with. He's not going to evolve the Taji.
Oh, he can just drop them because now he has the Olivia in hand.
He knows he can just drop those evolve points. Man, I really love the Olivia when you get to go second, and so your opponent only has 2 orbs, and then when you have Olivia, you get 6 evolve orbs, and your opponent only has 2. That's absolutely nasty. Thinking about his options, he could Rahab.
I can't keep relying on you, Dragon.
He's going to Aelia Rahab. He wants to get Aelia out of the way. That's essentially
well,
useless
Aelia
card at
becomes
this point.
much less useful once you hit max play points. I think right now it's still useful just in the sense that you can build yourself up to Zell combos.
And now even if an evolved Albert, if that's what he chooses to play, it would chew through the ward here, but that's not much else you're able to do that turn. You're still able only to attack for 1 damage with a Maid Leader.
That's not nearly enough damage for your turns.
No.
You are done for.
No, definitely not the amount of damage that Swordcraft would hope to be doing. It might be Limits is able to take this second game. With his second Ouroboros in his hand, he can have 1 on the field and then Zell combo the next on the next turn.
Yeah.
This is gonna get out of hand
That's
real fast for Noah.
It's almost I can't imagine a play where that would actually where he could actually save himself here, especially if he clears a Maid Leader.
Apologies, sir.
Those always come in, that's a ward, but
The
ward's not going to last long.
Yeah, your Zell can kill off the ward, and you get Storm for Ouroboros, do 3 to face, you do 16 on top of that. That's it.
Lino has just the amount of attack damage it needs to clear Ouroboros. Get 2 knights, but that's still, it's like we were saying, this is a real difficult spot for Swordcraft to be in. There's not an easy answer to all these options that Limits has in his hand. He's got Genesis Dragon next turn if he wants that.
Puts the ward down. Now the big thing here is the IL is irrelevant to this combo, right?
Oh, going for face.
Yep, that's it. So Limits can close it out and turn this game into a 1-1, turn the match into a 1-1
absolutely
scoreline here.
Blimey.
Wow, he went for the 3 to the face?
The sky's my destination.
He's got the 18 damage right there with the evolved Ouroboros Aelia.
Did I do math wrong? Zell evolved can take down the ward, right? Zell evolved, take down the ward, give Storm to Ouroboros, do 16 to face, and you win. Oh, of course, that was the overkill. Yeah, the Yellow there. I was stuck thinking about the Zell.
Yeah.
And then the face with the Ouroboros.
Still, really great job from Limits being able to come back in this series and bring it 1-1. And now, of course, it's going to be Shadow. It's going to be Shadow going up against the Sword deck from Noah.
Yeah, 1-1. So it's going to be Shadow versus Sword, and that I feel like is much less consistent for the Swordcraft player.
Right. There's much more tools that Shadow has to deal with the things that the Swordcraft player can bring to the table, I think.
Many opportunities there for Limits to kind of overcome that matchup. I have to wonder if the Shadowcraft deck is there seems to be consistently a lot of options that Shadowcraft draws against Sword that kind of make me believe that it can consistently win, but these decks didn't make it here off of just straight chance.
Right. Yeah.
So MS Noah on the brink of elimination. We could have a finals between EXG and MS, and we were talking about how there was going to be a race for who would challenge Shadow Nexus.
Bit of a team battle in the finals. That'd be really nice.
Come on.
All right, this is the final game of the series for the semifinals. The winner of this goes off to face Auto Aim in the finals.
Noah got a fairly good hand. Would have liked to have a 1-drop. Gets more veteran Lancers.
He does have
Noah
the
going
Maid Leader
first
and the
as well.
Grim Leader. Grimnir. Grim Leader.
Grim Leader. The nice thing about this situation is you have a good amount of ward available to you, which can mitigate a lot of the early game pressure.
Right.
At the same time, I think most of the damage actually comes towards the mid game, and in the early game there's a lot of board trading anyways. So I think having the ward at this point in time is not necessarily the most valuable, but depending on how the situation plays out, Noah could be looking pretty good.
Widow is not a card we see that often in Shadowcraft decks. It does give a lot of draw opportunities, 1 draw opportunity to be exact. And we did see Shadowcraft kind of running out of options in previous games today. Being able, without any draw opportunities, you really exhaust your options very fast.
He's going to be able to get another ward on the table here. Grimner to maintain the wards.
And look at all those wards that Noah has got on his side of the field. It's going to be so difficult for Limits to get through those.
So he can use the Lyriel to ping 1. Swing for another. But I don't necessarily know if he wants to swing his
the Reaper into the other ward,
any of these cards.
So yeah, you're right. He can get rid of 2 easily. Yeah, it's a tricky decision. He does have the Widow if he wants to play that. Just get that on the field so that it could be destroyed. Draw a card. There's a Luminous Mage in the hand of Noah for next turn. That's going to be a great 5-point play.
It's really quite unfortunate is in this situation, Lyriel did not actually trade out with any of them, so the Shadow Reaper can actually be bumped. So he will trade on his own terms. It didn't get buffed up, didn't get the extra health.
Yes, that's great. Noah could have evolved the Luminous Knight and gotten the extra attack bonus from that card.
My sword brings hope. You are done
Which he's
for.
still going to do that. Interesting.
Shining Paladins, attack! Love
It's going to allow him to clear the board and still have the Luminous Knight and the Mage on the field. That's a really stellar play.
What's really nice too is playing the little Soul Squasher on the Knight, if that was in hand, is not necessarily the worst in the world, right? The Evolve Orb was free, as well as you don't get to free remove the Mage, right? You still have to spend resources to remove the Mage. So I think it's a very strong choice. We talked about the differences between evolving Mage versus evolving Knight, and we saw that 5 Pawns did a very good job of doing that. Or sorry, Auto Aim.
The Aerial Archer going to get great effect here, being able to destroy the evolved Luminous Knight, trade into the Mage, and he can still summon Bone Chimera if he wants to, or the Widow. It's probably going to be the Chimera.
Yeah, Chimera is going to give you a lot of board control here. What's worrying is we're coming into turn 6, and there's no face damage done. Big thing for Noah is he's drawn into 2 Fangblade Slayers, which there were Swordcraft lists out here. I believe it was 5 Pawns that ran a one of Fangblade Slayer. And whereas I think it's makes sense in terms of making your deck build efficient. On the other hand, in this scenario, I think Noah's pretty happy to have that extra late game pressure.
Right, it's a great card. It allows you to clear the board and also do damage to face as well with a single attack. And at 8 play points, it's got 8 defense. That's absolutely massive.
Big thing is if there's a drop, and it doesn't look like it is in hand, so there's nothing really good in hand for Limits to evolve here. But if there was something that was a little chunkier, evolving it at the current hand that Noah had would have made the situation very awkward. Of course, it's hard to tell if that's the case, and especially you don't really want to be evolving willy-nilly because you push their attack over 5,
Right.
5 or up, and then you get in trouble with Tsubaki.
And because Noah has been able to use his evolve points on the mages, he still has got 2. And Limits might be considering using his final evolve point on this Bone Chimera, which he does.
Bone Chimera is going to live with 1.
Killing the board, and he still has enough orbs to play the Catacomb on this turn as well. Really great play.
Yeah.
We'll see what Noah has to do to answer it.
Love causes death.
Use slow conversion.
A great option there to draw 3 cards at the end of your turn, drawing a 4th card at the beginning of your next turn.
It won't be long now.
Really wanted more of those options.
Wings are killing me.
And we're getting closer to play point 8, where Noah is going to be able to play those Fang Blades. And those are the only 2 cards he has in his hand now.
Yeah. The board clear is fantastic in this situation as well.
Considering that this is turn 7 and Ector could be coming out. Noah doesn't know that. Noah doesn't know that Limits doesn't have it in his hand. But there is a Cerberus in his hand as well. That's going to be absolutely nasty. But, I mean, Limits hasn't been able to do any damage to face this whole game.
And that's really the key thing. Because then you're trying to challenge a card that's as beefy as Fangblade Slayer. Whichever thing you put down is going to be immediately dropped. You don't even have evolution orbs to really help. And there's still 1 evolution orb remaining. If there's a situation where Albert is top decked as well, Fangblade Slayers with the Alberts on top of that will give a very clear game plan to Noah.
That's going to be absolutely terrifying if an Albert were to come out. Oh, still 11 shadows on the side of Limits. He hasn't been spending them at all, really. So the 4 shadows on Soul Squasher, not much to shake a stick at. More than willing to trade those shadows away.
Fangblade Slayer immediately out.
Being able to take off Cerberus.
Yep, 3 damage to face.
I think on the next turn, it's a good bet that the second Fangblade Slayer is going to come out. Going to be determined by what he draws on the next turn as well. What is in the hand of Limits? He's got Phantom Howl, Coco and Mimi. That's a lot of damage right there, and plenty of shadows to use it on. Not to mention being able to get rid of this Fangblade Slayer right here.
Definitely a cause of a lot of trouble. And I like that choice because now you're going to get the skeleton and you're going to be able to swing for 4.
You wouldn't.
Still have Mimi.
Yep, and the 2 Phantom Howls. I have a feeling those cards are going to come in absolutely handy. But he's got a full board. If somehow Noah is able to clear this board,
Hey, why so angry? My boss works us to the bone.
Is he going to evolve Lyriel?
It's not going to clear the board fully. He's going to have to leave 1 follower on the board. And both players sitting at 15 health. Man, this is such an even game. But Limits has definitely more card options in his hand as well.
I like that choice of taking out Orthrus and only taking the 1 damage. Means that it's awkward to just use Mimi. If he had gone for the Sergeant, he would have reduced 2 damage rather than 1 damage, but Lyriel would have been left for 2, making a very clean kill for Mimi. Time to trade out the board. One of the Phantom Howls is going to be spent. And good thing for Limits, he has a ton of shadows available.
He does not mind spending those at all.
He could still play the Storm Mummy here.
He could. He will.
You wouldn't.
Taking a little bit of a lead, but we'll see what this draw is for Noah. It's going to be the Albert.
So this Fangblade Slayer, so he doesn't have the Evolve anymore, which would have been much better spent on the Albert. But every single swing at this point makes all the difference.
So he could do 6 damage to face, clear the board, with still having the 3/5 Albert.
So there's 8 damage. Oh, he could clear the board with the Albert here twice.
But that just opens up the board for the Phantom Howl next turn. He's got Phantom Howl 5, Mimi 2. That's 7 damage.
Yeah. Well, the big thing about it is the 2 damage pings were going to be stronger, right?
Mhm.
So.
And using Phantom Howlin', maybe that essentially exhausts his whole hand and he doesn't even have lethal. But, of course, ending your turn without a follower, doing damage after Phantom Hell, that doesn't give Fangblade Slayer a target. It has Rush, it doesn't have Storm.
The longer you leave Albert up, though.
Right. It's going to be chipping away that health, bleeding out limits. He's going to have to try to deal with that. He could trade the Ghosts into it and clear the board and get the Skull Beast on the board as well. But again, that's just giving a target to Fangblade Slayer.
Now, I think Noah needs one more option here, and it's 2 out of 26, I guess, to get Albert again. And if he just keeps drawing Albert, that's a pace that you cannot keep
right,
up.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah, Shadow will get absolutely outpaced.
So trading all the Ghosts into Albert, perhaps, needs to do it.
Yep. Hurts, but you got to do it. See what this next draw is going to be for Noah.
So this is the
Absolutely crucial, but both players are looking real tired as far as their hands are concerned.
Because Menachin, not the worst.
Not the worst at all. He's going to be able to get at least Fangblade Slayer on his.
So once
his
this
field this
Fangblade
turn.
Slayer comes down, it's real trouble town. Because you get that free damage on the Skull Beast, and the damage to face, and the Fangblade Slayer is super healthy.
Yeah,
7
it'll still
health,
have
5 if you throw the Mimi on there. And that Fangblade Slayer looks like he's going to be living for a real long time.
Oh, 2 Skull Beasts on the top deck right when you needed those at the beginning of the game.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And Noah might be on his way to the finals. 2 Storm cards. And I think he's just running it down. Fangblade Slayer again. 3 more damage puts it at 6. If anything,
Is there a
top
card
deck
that Limits
Albert,
can draw?
a top deck Albert. Oh, no. He will live 1 more turn here. Can remove the Novice Trooper and put down the Soul Squasher for reasons. Still going to take 3-4 damage here. But the Soul Squasher is going to be removed by Fangblade again.
Definitely doing another 3 damage.
Oh,
there's Grimnir.
Oh, my
gosh.
God. And that's what we talk about with drawing into late game options, is that back to back to back, especially starting with the 2 Fangblade Slayers and into that Albert gave Noah so much pressure. 2-1, and we have our finalists decided. It's going to be 2 Swordcraft decks in the finals.
Yeah,
Swordcraft Shadow.
Dragoncraft was not able to keep up.
Well, Dragoncraft did, certainly.
Oh, it did, yeah. But
Shadowcraft wasn't.
Yeah.
Which almost is the more interesting